So it's the first time the four of us been back together. Well, pre-Christmas anyway. Christmas was a bit of a poop show when it comes to everyone's schedules and commitments, and then COVID-19 didn't help at all. But in the grand scheme of things, what have you guys been up to? That's a great place for us to start. What's been happening in your life, Kylie?
Work. Well, my Christmas just flows into 2 birthdays. Like my wife and my daughter's just flows in one after the other. And today is my daughter's birthday, as well as Connor McDavid's. So happy birthday, Connor McDavid, as well.
Oh my God. Speaking of him.
What's up?
Guys, did you see the interview?
Yes.
Okay. We definitely need to talk about that. But
hold it.
Bring us in, Ryan. Bring us in.
We definitely need to talk about it, and we will. So, guys, we're also going to get into... we just had a late back-to-back too, so we get to talk about all those whiny Ontario crowd who still went to bed before midnight.
Right? And I'm like, hello? Do you forget Newfoundlanders exist?
Exactly.
Because it's another hour and a half on top of it. They're like, 10 p.m. I'm like, yeah, try 11:30.
Man, she's coming in hot, boys. Let me tell you, she's coming in hot.
It's so funny because every time you see it, there's always a Newfie comment like, 11:30 and New. You notice that?
Oh,
it's probably me. But there's probably me. No, but it's funny though. Even it could be Facebook, could be Twitter, whatever. There's always that one Newfoundlander don't forget.
Same reason we always see the flag in the crowd. It's always going to be
always there.
There's so many Newfie Leaf fans, and it is what it is, right?
I think we think everyone's going to forget who we are or that we exist.
Never.
We're too annoying, too loud, and we're all over YouTube. So we're going to hit on the back-to-backs. We're going to talk about the Golden Knights game where, I don't know, we won, maybe we shouldn't have. And then we'll talk about the game last night where we definitely should have won and definitely didn't. We got goalied, but at least it wasn't a Zamboni driver. So on that note, we'll get to episode 12. Yeah, episode 12, DSC Podcast Season 2. Let's get her going. Titter tatter, let's get at her. Okay, let's get her going. Welcome to episode 12 of the DSC Podcast, Season 2, episode 12. So yeah, we're all back together.
Finally!
The band is back together. Yay!
Took a while.
And the beauty of it being back together is that we got lots to talk about. Because there's really, to be honest, over Christmas, not a lot happened. I mean, Leafs didn't play any games, which is one of the big things we talk about a lot. They were laid off until basically first game was 3rd of January or whatever. We did a post game, I believe, after that one.
Yep.
But yeah, there's been a lot happening and a lot in the news lately. But let's start off by talking about the back-to-back. The game that we played against the Golden Knights. Now, I mean, they're a contending team. They're missing a few pieces that night, albeit Max Pacioretty, who's been on an absolute tear all year, was missing.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hated the game. I don't know where you guys sit with it.
I was all right to fall asleep after the second period. It was frustrating. Couldn't see things connect, as they were giving up the lead once again.
Yeah, it's just
back to that old habit.
Yeah, I feel like you just said, and you know what's funny? That game was the game. The last time we were there and played that game in the desert, and then we went on to Arizona, was the game that got Babcock fired. Do you guys remember that? And then Sheldon Keefe's very first game that he coached was in Arizona. So yeah, it's quite funny. And because of that, I was like, oh my God, I want to go back and watch the highlights from that Vegas game. This was before we played. And I was just I was laughing. I was like, Adam, come watch this. Because I was like, who is this team? Completely different style of hockey. Don't even look the same. And I'm like, oh yeah, besides the Colorado game, this is our new team now, but then they played Vegas and they done the exact same thing again. And it's just
I'm not overly worried about the comfort, Sportsnet. Oh man, you imagine clickbait after that Colorado game. They bring up this stat that the Leafs have the most 4-1. What was the most comebacks have been against the Leafs, being up 4-1. since 2013. Now, what does 2013 have anything to do with 2020? It's just
taking up that stuff
onto it. It means
how does
nothing.
someone even figure that out?
And why would you?
Right.
But it's like, that's what Toronto media does.
Oh,
like,
I'm so
everybody
tired
was
of
sticking
it.
on that, and I've been beaten away semi-Leaf fans over the last number of days saying, "Oh, they're back to their old habits and this and that." I think like it's whatever. Like
it's
picture this. Now, with COVID-19, because no one's in touch with one another in Ontario, they're all doing the same thing that we do virtually. So somewhere on the internet right now, there's 4 people sitting around a virtual Zoom meeting, and they're discussing what statistic will get clicks. That's their job. They're doing what we're doing here. They're sitting around saying, what statistic can we look up? Can we send to the stats guys, the stats nerds that do everything for us? What can we give them that probably will make the team look bad? And somebody says, aha, let's go back to 2013.
Yeah, like why?
2013 would have been that
was the last time we
playoff series, right?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Why 2013? But yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's sad because it is.
And it's so funny because people on Twitter, I don't know if you guys are on it as much as I am, but, and I know I'm not even on it often, but there was a lot over the last, a couple weeks, especially with Soupy playing really well. Everybody was pretty much just like making fun of the media, saying, oh, when are they going to put out the articles that we can't afford him? He's playing his way out of a contract that we won't be able to afford. Then I literally thought to myself, I'm like, after McKayev had those few games when he came back, I was like, I wonder until we see that we ain't going to be able to afford McKayev either. Literally like an hour later, I'm scrolling through Twitter. And there it is. And it's just like, it's at this point, it's like predictable. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's like the same thing of Habs comebacks. They're so predictable now. The media is just as predictable. It's the same shit over and over. Just changes the name. Whether it's like, it was Nylander 2 years ago being shit on. Now it's Marner. It's just like constant. And it's the same.
And nobody gets it. Just going to keep cycling it around and around and around. Until,
where are you even getting the clicks? Like, who reads this crap? That's what I wonder.
It's the borderline Leaf fans for one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the true ones,
complain for myself. I don't need someone to tell me what to complain about.
No, I'll watch you on TV, but I ain't giving you clicks on those stupid bait articles, like clickbait articles. Like no, because you're only
one of those guys that looks for the comment. I look for the guy that his anti-clickbait and says, actually, this is what you want to
read. There's always someone there with that little description. I'm like,
the real MVP. Yep.
Yeah. The real MVP. Always, especially with videos too.
Yeah. But back to the game for a second. Again, they didn't play horrible.
No.
A bit of puck luck would have helped. Didn't play great by no means. Hardly had any shots. 18 in total. You know what? I can't say anybody in particular had a really bad game, and I've used the word blah a lot for the Leafs over the last week or so. There was just nothing there of excitement. Like Matthews has continued to play really well.
Yep.
Up front.
I'm worried about Muzzin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to that one in a second. But up front, like Tavares hasn't looked the same. He's had a great year, but that line hasn't really. I haven't seen much.
You know why? Because recently Kerfoot hasn't been playing on that line, and so much as we give the top 4 guys a lot of credit, man, this year I'm telling you, Alex Kerfoot is bringing it. He's bringing it.
Irreplaceable at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's putting up some big numbers.
Yeah,
and the 4 of us would have traded him after training camp. Right,
yeah.
That's the irony in all this.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Would have been a slam dunk. Yep, let's clear that $3.5 million and bring in some, but obviously there's things that we don't know. And he's far more capable than I ever thought he was because, you were talking, Patty just mentioned Matthews and how Matthews has been going. I mean, he's been going really well with Marner out of the lineup, but with Kerfoot slotted in. And Kerfoot's making Bunting look good. I mean, the line looks good.
However,
looks really good.
Yeah,
good,
I wanted to bring this up to you guys. Actually, me and Adam were talking about it earlier, and I said, I'm bringing that up to the guys tonight. So McKayev comes back, and conveniently at the same time, Marner's out. And then I know Marner was back for like 1 or 2 games and then gone again. He comes in, the guy's on fire. He scores whatever it is, 4 goals, 5 games. Kasha comes back, and McKayev gets demoted to the 3rd line again. Like, it was we already knew that he wanted out because his role wasn't big enough. He wanted power play minutes, and he deserves it. Especially, he just proved that he deserves it. And I think that was a real slap in the face. And honestly, we did so well when he was up there on the top line with the guys, and because he plays so well with John Tavares, in my opinion. And I've always said that. And Kasha comes back, and then, hold on, I'm not done. We're like, yeah, Kasha's done really well. He got X number of points in his 30-odd games. Oh, David Kemp has done really well. They done really well because they played together. And Keefe splits them up. Like, I'm so confused about all that because
I don't see it as a demotion though. I don't know. I disagree here on a deep team like this.
No, I guess you can put it in that sense. No, it's not a demotion, but I don't understand that it worked so well. And then you just changed it again. Like, that was always my biggest complaint with Keefe is he's constantly changing shit. And I know you have to do that. You got to keep things up, especially when it doesn't work. But that worked, in my opinion.
It's hard to say it doesn't work with the record we have this year. Yeah. I mean,
right?
And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Kylie. Like, you talk quite often on here about giving the players a chance to build chemistry and get going. And I mean, we've seen Wayne Simmons lately start to come on strong. Yeah. And my biggest fear is that they bumps him up to the third line because I'm like, no, just leave him with the guys he's playing well with.
Right. Like, and we've seen glimpses of Kempf and Kasha playing together this year, and they just got this excellent chemistry. I mean, they played with each other in minor hockey days. And then I don't know. Like, I don't know. Kasha deserves a shot at the top line 100%. He's been playing really well, but the man just came back from an injury. Literally the day before that game, he was wincing, getting off the ice in practice. And then you put him on the top line. It's just like very confusing to me. Like, why? Like, I would like to know your thought process as to why you did that. Like, I don't know.
I mean, they got to plug holes. I get it. When you got guys that are on COVID protocol,
but McKayev was up there. Kerfoot was up with Matthews.
Phil, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
We had what was it? The lines though, they were Matthews, Kerfoot, Bunting, and then we had John Tavares, Willie, Mikheyev. So put Kasha down with Kempf and I don't know, Richie or somebody, and then you got your third line of Spezza, Simmons, and whoever else it is, Clifford. I don't know. That really bugged me, and I mean, I've always been a fan of Keefe. I love him, but I was just like, really? And I don't know. I've always had a soft spot too for Mikheyev. And I felt so bad for him. And then he came back on the third line. Oops, sorry, I hit my thingy. Come back on the third line and was kind of invisible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a bigger problem, to be honest. I know what you're saying. I don't have a bigger problem. I just think they're so deep and they've got 100%. So much speed.
And we have so many choices.
All the boys are big, like Mikheyev and Kasha, and all of them are willing to dig into corners and all those things. I don't have one problem with any of the forwards right now. Not one.
No, except Richie.
Well, Richie, yeah, Richie does not belong on this team.
No,
like
he has to go.
Too bad. I hate to hear it, but yeah.
If I hear somebody else say that he's the type of guy that we need for the playoffs,
absolutely.
Yeah, no. Like, I don't care what he don't hit. The man do not hit.
There was a point last night. There's a point last night where they were going down in the corner and it was like he was going top speed and I was like, oh my God, and puts on the brakes. I'm like, what?
Well, he'll be gone tomorrow, I suspect, to the taxi squad or the Marlies.
Oh God, yes. Soon as we can bring back Ingval, right? He'll be gone. Well, and Marner, yes. Yeah. They said I think both are joining the team today. I think in Arizona. I'm not sure if they actually got there yet, but
well, Kylie mentioned last night's game, so let's roll on last night's game because I mean, the Golden Knights game, it is what it is. We won, yay! We didn't really deserve.
Talk about the penalties because that was a big thing. I know a lot of people complained. I didn't think it was like an unfair game, like the Winnipeg game or anything. But
no,
the whole game management thing was questionable because I mean, what were they like? They had double the amount of penalties or more. But I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ryan. I just know that was a really big topic after that. And
that's a good point. But I mean, when you look at double the penalties, when two of them are penalties that are must calls, like
over the glass,
delay a game, over the glass, or too many men, then you take those two penalties out of the equation. It's not really a game management issue anymore. Those are ones you got to call. So if they called stick infractions or hooks,
not Richie, sorry, the Clifford one. But then when I went back and looked at it, it kind of looked like he almost slew-footed him. Yeah. So, I mean, I know people are complaining, and a lot of times I'm one of those because I always like to blame the refs. But that game, I don't think was really that bad. And I mean, I think was that West did that game? No, West did Arizona game. Yeah, he did last night's game. Sorry. All right, but yeah, let's move on to the. Oh, sorry.
I don't have as much of a problem with the penalties that the Leafs have taken.
No,
I don't understand the bunting one from last night, but there are missed calls. Like Matthews and Keefe brought this up earlier in the year. Matthews has so much puck possession, but never draws a penalty.
He's still only drawn 2. Yep. Since that conversation, I don't think he's even drawn 1.
Something wrong with that picture.
Like last night, actually, one of you guys brought it up in our group chat about Matthews getting punched in the face. Oh, Matthews got a penalty last night instead. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Broady punched Matthews in the face, and then Matthews got a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, how does somebody who is as big and like husky and fast and literally the best person on our team don't draw any penalties? It makes
he doesn't react. He's not a weasel. He doesn't react.
No.
He doesn't.
And then people. They call him like a whatever because he gets ragdolled, but he's just literally laughing at the person.
Yeah,
I'd probably do the exact same thing.
That shit. He has no interest in that.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be like a scald cat. I know.
Yeah.
No, me.
Yeah, like see something ragdolling, on the ice.
Oh yeah, I just beat her like, no, I'd be probably on their face.
Savage. Yeah.
So that game last night, that wasn't a loss in my mind. Yes, there's a loss in the standings, and I'm a homer for the Leafs and all that stuff. I don't know what they ran into a hot goalie and nobody
making another nobody famous.
It made no sense. People will dump on Mrazek, but in reality, my God, what did he have?
It's only 2 goals.
14 shots. It was 2 goals. Like the guy has played 5 or 6 games all year.
Yeah,
I'm not running him out of town just yet.
No.
He's a capable goalie. He's just got no game time, and that's the fault of COVID, the fault of his own injury. The fault of a lot of things, and the fault of an incredibly hot goaltender, a Vezina candidate goaltender in Jack Campbell. Well, what are you going to do? Not play Campbell?
I don't think it's anything to do with his abilities. I think, like you just said, it's lack of game time. And that's the only reason why, like last night, that second goal, he tried to poke check it. And we already seen Campbell has got screwed over. Well, in the Montreal series was the biggest one that I remember, trying to poke check it and getting, come back backfired. And I feel like that's just something that Campbell, he does it now and he don't miss them ever. Like, or at least the few that I've noticed him try to poke
I'm
check.
still not a fan of the poke check.
I know, they make me so nervous.
There's 2 things that make me mad with goaltenders. The poke check, because if you miss it, you're done.
Yeah, you're fucked.
And coming at the net to play the puck. Unless you absolutely got to, because you got 2 defensemen down in each one in each corner and there's nobody to play it, stay where you're 2. How many times have you seen a goalie come out and just make the wrong decision? Or
get like leveled?
Yeah.
That's actually a bigger issue.
They don't have any Marty Brodeur puck handlers anymore.
No.
I don't mind the puck handling as much because a lot of goalies can do it really well. What drives me crazy when the puck is back, and I think Mrazek did it last night, or was it the other goalie? I think it was Mrazek. And it was Leafs are changing. They must have had a player up on the opposite blue line in the offensive zone, and they do the stretch pass for the goalie, which puts our player on a 1-on-4. He can't do nothing with the puck. He's got to wait for his other teammates to come down.
Right? Like, what's he going to do? He's not Connor McDavid.
Yeah, it's just anyways, that's more of my bigger beef. But back to the game, I don't know what else they could have done.
You know what? Scoring 3 goals last night should not have been a problem.
No,
because Arizona only got 2, and against that goalie, against that team, with our team, it should not have been a problem, but it was, and that's the story of it for me. There's no big glaring problem last night other than just, you just didn't score. Jake Muzzin is, I'm worried about the guy. I'm not sure what's going on. Is this Jake from now on, or is this Jake this year after being hurt last year? I don't know.
I was hoping somewhere. Yeah, I was hoping with all the breaks over COVID and then Christmas and whatever. I was like, maybe Jake will come back and be himself. But I mean, I will admit, I don't think he's been as bad as of late as he was. You know what I mean, at the beginning of the season. But because I feel like Hull's kind of come back a little bit to himself.
I know he's confident out there. He's holding the puck and people are coming at him, and he's like holding the puck way too long.
My biggest thing I noticed with him is Riley does it too, and it drives me freaking insane. But they go in and they're going to you're going to take a shot, and there's a winger there, and they just hold on to the puck way too damn long. By the time, you're giving the other team time to fucking set up, and you're still there
There's that, and that's my biggest problem. They're holding on to that puck too long, and they're getting, they're getting
what
caught.
are you doing? Even if you don't see someone pass you, shoot it.
I have a theory on that, on the holding the puck too long, and I think it's our forwards' problem, to be honest, because
they're not in position.
They're not getting open.
The defensemen are waiting for those forwards to make a screen that never comes. No. Like how many times have we made an effective screen this year? A few times we have. The puck's gone in the net because we got fantastic shooters on the point. But like they're holding the puck, waiting for someone to cause that screen, and no one goes there. And I think that causes a lot of trouble. And then, of course, like Kylie said, the other team gets set up, and suddenly we're just playing a perimeter game again.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my theory.
The opposing player shouldn't be able to make contact with you. You shouldn't be having it that long. You best turn around and skate or do something.
No. And if you don't see an option, flick it at the net. Yeah. If you don't see an option, flick it at the net. Look at the last goal TJ Broady scored. It banged off this one's foot, but it went in. And
still that's the only defense we got, I think. But
he's friggin' amazing. But my biggest complaint with our defense, which they're way better now than they've been in many years, but just take more point shots. Just bombs from the point. Why is it so hard? We do not have someone that, besides Sandine, he's but the only person that'll actually take a slap shot from the point. Liljegren has done a few. Yeah, I've seen Liljegren and Sandine. And I don't know if that's like the new generation, but it can't be. Defensemen always did point shots. But I don't know, because I like watching Cale Makar. Well, Adam watches him constantly. Same with Adam Fox. They're so good. But that's one of the things, like watching other teams and watching the defense. I'm like, look how many goals they score from the blue line. It's crazy.
Yeah. How many big shots from the league right now, like Subban had and Weber had?
Yeah.
Who's doing that now?
Right. There's not many.
I'm not as concerned about the goals not going in. I think the opportunity to have a shot in the point, it's another option out there, and it probably leaves your top forwards open a little bit more than they are right now, knowing that there's not a threat back there.
Yeah, and like whenever you do take a slap shot from the point, and I know actually someone else who does it quite often is Dermott. He just don't have the greatest aim, and he doesn't have the hardest shot. But when you do take a slap shot like that and it doesn't hit off someone's ass, it creates havoc in front of the net, and then the goalie's on his ass, and he's whatever, and before you know it, it's in the back of the net, and that's. I find our team tries to just go in and do a couple passes and get it top corner.
Or they float it in from the point.
Yeah, they try to make pretty plays and
or just make that flopper. I seen Kerfoot do it last time when he had two people open. He did a little floater from the blue line. Like, what are you doing?
Like, one observation that I'll make on the point shots in that case is I have, as I've taken notice too, I'm totally on board with Kylie's point. To further the point though, the point shots I've seen him make are not on net.
No.
Right? Ringing it around the boards is kind of old crap. Like, I mean, just shoot it at his chest. Worst case. Don't go shooting for the corner, because the amount of times this team goes high and wide from the slot is just amazing to me. Yeah. Right? I mean, I get it. You got some snipers there, and I'm okay with Matthews missing high and wide every once in a while because he's not going to miss too many. But for the most part, man, like you said, just make the goalie work. Make him tired, if nothing else. I don't know.
Just the scrambling in front of the net, and like if that's how we got to score goals. The other night, who were we playing when Willie banged it off the boards and it went in? That was the same game Broady scored and it hit off Marner's foot, or whoever's foot.
That was Colorado.
Those two goals were complete flukes, and sometimes that's how you win hockey games. So
great chances, get the bounces.
Yeah, like last night I found it was like they were trying so hard to score that they were almost thinking about it too much. Just throw it at the net. Eventually it will go in. Like Assens did.
Yeah, but it was good though.
There was no one else around.
He was good.
I mean, he's freaking awesome.
There was a couple there that I thought were, this is for sure going in the back of the net, and I'm like,
yeah,
he had a great game, and we got goalied.
We got goalied. Yep. And I mean, that goalie's friggin' awesome. Whether he can do it again, but he had a good game, and he looked confident too. Like he looked solid.
Yep.
Well, like I said in the intro, at least it wasn't a Zamboni driver. I can deal with a professional goalie goaling us. That's cool. I'm like, let's move on. No big deal.
I'm gonna take that game with a grain of salt.
The
comebacks, like whatever. Quite frankly, what in the last 27 games we've lost 4 or 5 times. 5 times. There's one, whereas in previous years, like last year, we had depth issues. So Dubas went out and solved that at the deadline to pick up a piece or two. a backup goalie issue. He had to go last year and get Riddick.
Yeah.
A depth defenseman issue. This year, I think I'm really scared of that Muzzin Hall pairing. And I got all faith in Dubas going out and doing something there. The name that I'm liking these days, not to go into trade talk or whatever too much, but Giordano. Now there's rumors he'll get traded back to Calgary.
If anybody comes off Seattle, I'm going to say it's going to be Larson.
But I agree with you, Patty. I think that's all that's going to be done. Now, there was something I was reading the other day. I don't know exactly who it was from. Like, let's just say Mark Masters. I don't know. About how apparently the Leafs, as of right now, the plan is that, like, don't expect pretty much any big splashes this year because we don't have any picks to trade. And I guess Dubas doesn't really want to get rid of any of our prospects.
Yeah, Larson. Who I meant anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah. However, people were saying about what's his name on Dallas. What's his name?
Klingberg.
Yes. How he apparently wanted out. And then people were like, well, throw in Pavelski. I'm like, are you cracked? Like, no. I mean, no doubt he's a good player, but we already got Spezza and a Simmons, so we're good. But think of this, though. They have Jason Robertson. We could trade Nick Robertson because I love Nick Robertson. I do not want him traded. I will say that, like, on the record, I don't want him going anywhere. However, I mean, think about how much they would like their brother, like the brothers to play together. So, like, that could possibly be an option.
I don't think we're trading a prospect for a rental.
I don't think so either.
Not a chance.
No,
he already said he won't do that.
I'm willing to include Robertson or Amarov, first rounders, these types of guys in the Chychrun trade who's got term left.
That's what I was going to say. We need someone with term, not someone like a friggin' Foligno.
Klingberg is 29 right now. We can't sign him in the off season. We've got Sandy coming up. Like Klingberg is a power play specialist. We don't need. We really do.
We don't need that.
We need defense.
No. We need another Broady.
Chychrun is clearly the best option for the Leafs because he's 23 years old. 3 more years after this one left at $4.5 million.
Wow.
You could trade your first round picks. You could trade a grade A prospect and dump some of your unneeded salary, i.e. Engvall or. Obviously, Justin Hall would probably go out in that trade as well to make room on the right side for Chychrun because that's his spot. So you could clear enough cap space to make it work, and the kid's a stud. So
that's the trade I want.
That's the trade I want. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'd be okay with a Nick Robertson going out in that trade. But
the problem with that trade.
Sorry, go ahead.
The problem with that trade is name one team in the NHL that wouldn't want that player, that contract.
He's going to be expensive. Yeah.
So I don't know if we've got is our grade A prospect Robertson better than the grade A prospect somewhere else? And our first round pick is not going to be a high one. It's going to be a low one. So that's where I think
we didn't have a first this year. I think we traded it last year, didn't we?
Yeah. We got it back, I think. Didn't we get it back for something? I can't remember.
In any case, we're not rich with assets to trade. You're right. For a grade A player.
Did you guys hear last night during the game or at the beginning of the game? They said how Arizona has like only one first next year or this year, but like 5 seconds. So I could see potentially maybe like a 3-team thing going in here where we trade potentially who God knows who and like a second to somebody for a first and then flip that to Arizona with somebody or something. Like, I don't know. I would imagine like they don't want any more second round picks. They want some first. So we don't have one, I don't think, or if we do, we have one.
But we'd have it in future years.
Yeah, so I don't know. And like this year's not really that big of a good draft year. So like why even want that many? Maybe take some for 23, 24.
Yeah, the Leafs don't have a first or a second right now.
No. They're both gone, are they? Okay.
Not in this coming year. And that's why we're in a bad spot going into this one unless we're trading from the following year, which gives you the same problem next year. Right, so who doesn't come there trying to offset what they've already tried to accomplish? Unless they think they're actually going to win this year, then you trade whatever.
I said Adam Larson for a reason. Adam Larson should come at a decent price. He's also 29. He's $4 million. He's got 3 years left. He plays defense.
I wouldn't want to.
He's going to be pretty quiet. No, you don't want to give
someone
too much
on term.
That's what I'm talking about.
Definitely want someone on term.
Yeah, 3 years? Not good enough.
I don't know.
That's perfect.
But I don't.
24, 25.
I don't think Dubas is going to take on a contract so nearing 30 with term left.
I don't think so.
Is probably
Jake
more
Muzzin?
because
anyone? Jake Muzzin, anyone?
Yeah, he was great his first couple
of years.
It's
not like Jake Muzzin was a stud. I mean, he's a defenseman. He's good, but it's not like he was like a standout.
And I find Dubas never goes after those like big names. Okay, well, Foligno, that's about it. But like he got us Muzzin, and we're like, who the hell's Jake Muzzin? Or
and Broady.
He gets us Jack Campbell. Well, yeah, Brody's another one. That's true.
Yeah, this is TJ Broady. None of us knew how good he was except Kyle Dubas.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? I will say I had him on hockey pools, but I never knew the backwards belly slide.
Oh my God, he got it figured out amazing. Too. Like so the timing is so good.
It's just a really good.
Out of Calgary, like when he left Calgary, like they kind of slammed the door on him. Yeah, I went back and saw some tweets on where I dug him up at that I retweeted or whatever, but he wasn't. They were fine to see him go, and it's been our treasure. Yeah.
Wow.
I think
things go bad.
If it's not a Chychrun, like Dubas is going to do one of two things. He's either going to sell the firm to go out and get someone's going to help us now and long term, which is Chychrun, or he's going to trade a first rounder for like a Ben Sherrod or something like that. I don't think he's going to go out and trade for anyone 29 or 30 with term.
What about Savard? He should be available.
Yeah, see, he's got. I think Montreal they sign him to a 2 or 3 year contract.
Well, that's term.
Yeah, but I don't cheap too. He's only got $3 million or something.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I don't think they're gonna anybody 30 or plus, 30 years of age plus. I don't think he's gonna trade for anybody with term.
But he plays defense, man. Like you need a defenseman. He plays good defense.
I know, but if he had 1 year,
you want a cup run? You want if you want a cup run, you get for now, and term would be nice. But how serious does he want to push right now? Let's go right now with these guys. They're gonna have to do that at some point too. You're gonna have to give up high costs for rentals if you want to make that run. If the Leafs are serious.
Yeah.
Justin Hall. I didn't know this, so I'm just letting you guys know. Justin Hall, he's 29 years old.
Yep.
His cap hit's $2 million, and he's signed through next year, which I had no idea. I thought he was up this year. However, that's good because he does have a year left on his contract, meaning it should be easier to move. Obviously, we can't move someone on an expired contract. It'd be much harder.
I don't think they're moving Hall. I think they're going to move someone. We got some forward depth. I don't think. I don't think they're going to touch their D.
I'd rather lose a forward for a defenseman, like trade a forward for a defenseman.
I can see like an Engvall being a part of that, a package like that.
Yeah, because I mean, when you think about it, like Liljegren just came up, and it's like, yes, so obviously something is with him and Sandin, like the Marlies development has been working, and we have so many great defensemen in the pipe ready to come up whenever their time is called, and same with forwards. We have so many forwards that are just in the farm, and like you said, we could you can get someone who's like Engvall, who got quite a few goals this year. I mean, not a few, but he's doing well for a third liner, fourth liner sometimes. I mean, who would you rather lose, him or Mikheyev? I would much rather lose Engvall.
Yeah, of course, it depends on the return, but
yes, that's true. But I don't know.
Mikheiv's finally looking like the Mikheyev we always wanted, and we always knew he could have been. It's just untimely injuries and returns and injuries,
COVID, and
If you bring in a
wanting to get off the team and everything else like that. So
if you bring in a Chychrun or a Sherrod, I think it just brings Hall down to your third pairing, and they look a lot deeper going in. Like, I don't love the idea either going into the playoffs with Sandin and Dermott or Sandin and Liljegren.
No,
that's a weak one. That's a weak pairing.
You know what I love the most about this is that Patty started this off by saying, I don't want to get the trade talk going, but
and now that's all we're talking about. Okay.
10 minutes later, here we are.
Still talking about it. Okay.
It had to be talked about. I'm glad we got some names out there, some defense names. I like that because I don't know. It seems like we're kind of on different pages here on who we want or who we think is possible. This 29 and 31-year-old, I'm okay as if they're going to be effective like this year, next year, and then whatever.
Maybe next year.
I think there's two things that
I'm all right with
Dubas is going to be gun shy on. I think there's two things that he's going to be gun shy on. One is aging players, like Patty said. Second is trading for injured players, because neither of those things have panned out for him overly well yet.
No.
Right? Foligno was a massive underwhelming
bust. And then to not sign back with us, I always wonder
what happened. So is it bad luck, or is it Dubas making a bad move because he don't have a crystal ball to see who's going to get hurt?
Well, Foligno got hurt again, so bad luck.
We're all excited for that trade. A healthy Foligno last year
would have been.
I think
it would have been game changer.
A big difference.
seeing him in the documentary and stuff, like he actually really wanted to play, I think. And I think it's just bad luck. Like you said, he was already coming back from injury when we first got him, and then literally played like 3 games and then got hurt again. So
the one reason I think Dubas is going to go all in, and now I don't think he has full autonomy either. I think Shanahan and others, especially Shanahan, has some say in trades. Definitely. But I think he knows the pressure in Toronto. I don't think he deserves his job to be gone if they get kicked out of the first round again. I think he's done all he can do, but it's Toronto. Yeah. It's not like Doug Wilson in San Jose or David Poile in Nashville, who's been around for 20 years or so. That's not going to happen in Toronto. He could very well lose his job this year if they don't make a run in the playoffs. So I think he's going to do everything that he can do within reason.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, I hope he does it with hockey, with the Leafs being the main priority, you know what I mean? And not.
Well, he has his GM strategy of pretty much he's all numbers. And that's what he bases it on. And it's been
kind of working. Well, it does work.
Well, I mean, it does work.
It's just you're
never guaranteed. It's sports.
See, I'm not gonna say I disagree with Patty, but I do. I disagree with Patty. I don't think his job's in jeopardy at all. I don't think this team would be anywhere near close where they are without Kyle Dubas.
No,
totally agree.
Okay. So he took a few swings that didn't really connect, i.e. Nick Ritchie. But I mean, you look at what he have done. He brought in John Tavares, TJ Broady, Jason Spezza. These guys who are, this team wouldn't be anywhere without those guys, right?
No.
We'd be making the playoffs. I don't know if it wasn't for Kyle Dubas. Can you imagine what some other hot-headed GM would have done with them big 3 players that we got?
I don't think we'd have them all.
Be here.
No.
Wouldn't have him.
I totally agree. I don't think he's anywhere. He should be anywhere close to losing his job. I think he should be here for the long haul.
But you said you think he might.
Well,
I mean, anything's a possibility, though.
Not his own feelings. He believes the market is volatile enough to get rid of him. I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah,
I can't see it. I can't see Shanahan.
I can't see it either.
Sitting down and doing his post. Say we go in the first round again, which is incredibly possible because that Eastern Conference is ridiculous. You run in Tampa Bay, what are you going to do? You may or may not get out of it. Like that's it, right? So we don't get out of the first round again this year. But yet we've made strides yet again in the regular season, which everyone says, oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it does matter. It matters a lot, right? Mm-hmm. We've made strides again in the regular season. We're the best defensive team in the league, right now, which is amazing to me. I can't wrap my mind around that, to be honest, because all I watch.
Muslim was playing decently great. Yeah.
But I mean, he sits down to do his postseason analysis on his team and his management team and his coaching staff and everything else. And he's like, what else could Kyle have done?
It's true.
Right. And that's what I think people are missing the boat on is that he struck out a few times, but a lot of GMs have struck out way, way worse. You look at me and Patty talked about it a couple episodes ago. Bad contracts. How many bad contracts have we got? When you're talking about $2 million contract as a bad contract, you don't have bad contracts.
We have 0 right now.
I find the ones that people will accuse being bad. Marner and Tavares.
Yeah, they're the 2 that I'm not.
That's the 2 big ones.
But...
And that's the thing. Like, it makes me hate to say it because I love Marner. I don't think he's,
No,
I don't like paying wingers that much anyway.
No, I'm sorry.
He does kill penalties. He does do a lot, and I love the guy. So if it makes him stay, I'm glad he's here instead of somewhere else getting paid that much money for now. But
I
don't think
he would have got
contracts.
that.
That's the ones I think that will get Dubas in the end.
The only reason why he got paid what he got paid is because of Darren Dreger and his bullshit and his offer sheets.
Not Paul Marner.
Yeah. Well, him too. But no, but like the what do you call it?
I don't know.
What do you call them? Offer sheets. Offer sheets are coming in or this and like nothing ever came. You know what I mean?
But that's an agent's job, right? And
I guess
the fact of the matter is we paid Marner close on $11 million, and he finished last year 5th in league scoring.
100%. He's worth a lot of money. I just don't.
And I mean, I think his third year in the league. I believe he finished
95 points or something.
Yeah, so
100%. But he's a winger.
But when you look at him in the playoffs last year, he tries to do too much, which is a big problem.
I think he gets in here a lot.
That monkey still seems to be on his back this year.
Yeah, he's in here a lot, and that's what's scary about Marner is I feel like me and Adam actually had this conversation today. Willie had the exact same situation for the most part. Like, he was shit on constantly. I said to Adam, I said, can you imagine though, as often as you pick up your phone and you pop open Facebook or Twitter or Google or whatever it is, Instagram, and as soon as you do, you see people shitting on you, like, all the time. Like, that obviously has to weigh on you a little bit. Now,
I can definitely see it affect Marner.
Right?
Not Willie, though.
Exactly.
I don't think Willie cares.
And I think after Willie
really
signed his contract and he came back in December, he done fuck all. Sorry, I keep swearing on this one for some strange reason.
Yeah, I'll mark it as explicit. Go ahead.
It's Arizona. That's the Arizona game. That's it.
I'm sure there's no kids listening to this anyway. But yeah, like, he didn't do much, right? But I don't know if he just overcame it or just he doesn't care. I don't know. But he came back and it made him way better. Because maybe everything people said about him, he used it to, okay, well, this is what I need to get better at, obviously. Like, and anyway, it worked. He's been great. But I feel like with Marner, I don't know, his type of personality. Like, I don't know. I worry about him. I do. Like, his mental health got to be pretty shitty right now.
I don't worry about the contract, though. I
think had COVID not happened, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
And the cap space and the cap hit never went up.
Every single NHL team, if they had the opportunity to sign, what was he, 21 or 22 years old, coming out of his third year, out of his entry level, if they had the opportunity to sign him for $11 million, they would have. Know the reason why most wouldn't? Because they don't have that type of talent coming out of their entry level contracts. There's only so many teams that had the quality of rookies coming out of their or young players coming out of their entry level, like Matthews, Marner, Nylander. That will continue to be the problem. We had too many good players.
That's exactly true.
And then they brought Tavares in.
Canada would have
that's the
what
one
would you
thing.
do with the money? So everybody tells me that Tavares. I know that's not what you're saying, Chad. Like, it's hard to say Tavares is not worth it because he's been a point per game player since he's here. 40-goal season, all that stuff. He's your captain, Toronto boy, all that good stuff. Like, so when people say to me, "Oh, they shouldn't have signed Tavares," okay, fine, okay, we shouldn't have signed Tavares. What are we going to do with the money? I don't know. Well, you better have a response.
Just give more to Matthews.
My thing is with Tavares, no doubt he's not worth a bit of money.
13 million.
He was 29 when he signed that. That's my issue with it, because now, I mean, his first 2-3 years, whatever, was he 29 when he signed it? I know he was late 20s. I don't know exactly.
28,
I believe you.
So yeah, I think he's actually my age. Anyhow, now I forget what I was going to say, but no doubt he's earned and like he's showed up and he's performed really well for us. Mm-hmm. My thing is, by the time he's on the last year of his contract, he's going to be the age that Jason Spezza was when we had first signed him at 37 or whatever it was, 36 for $700K a year.
Yeah.
That's where my brain goes. And I'm like,
John Tavares' contract is no longer worth what we're paying him, then the Leafs will dump him off just like they did with Patrick Marleau to some other team.
What if we don't want it? He has a full no-move clause, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
You know what? He's signed for 7 years. I think he's in year 4.
Yeah, like,
there hasn't been 1 year yet. He hasn't shown us the value.
That's very true.
He's not going to drop off the cliff anytime soon. If there's a potential contract to be harmful, it's that one, because the other guys are too young. Like, you can get rid of those contracts.
And to be clear, I'm just going to say people are going to say that's why Dubas got fired. That was my whole point in bringing up Tavares and Marner's contract. That's what people will say, just based on people's comments. Mm-hmm. I agree somewhat, but not enough to fire the man, because these are world-class elite players, and they don't come around very often, and we have a collection of them.
At least we're not
never got past the first round yet, so
at least we're not just signing Cody Ceci for 4 years and $3 million.
Exactly.
That's a bad contract.
Or the other guy when they got Duncan Keith.
Sure.
Like,
I got a question for you now. Trivia time for you three who are wildly internet surfing veterans. Who currently leads the NHL in takeaways?
Willie.
Thank you to the lady in the black hat. William Nylander, number 1 in the league in takeaways. Guess who has the lowest takeaway to giveaway ratio in the NHL?
Willie.
That's right. So he leads the league with 74 takeaways. All right. Giveaways, he's one of the best in the league. Only 7 on the whole season.
7.
Giving him the best ratio of any player in the NHL.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there, guys.
And I really don't think he cares about what fans think about him when they say shit, because I just think he has that swagger.
He just has that swagger. He don't. But Marner don't have that.
Dad being Michael Nylander, I don't think he gives a shit.
I mean, we already know what Paul Marner was like and how Mitch grew up. His dad was a crazy hockey dad who was banging on the boards, screaming out to him. Yeah. Probably had an earpiece in his ear and like talking to him. Like, I see kids, like, I mean, we're following, and you guys are at the rink all the time too. The older your kids get, you'll start to see, I mean, we're not like it, but there's other parents. And nothing against them, you do other you. Coaches. But I just think like, damn, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Please don't do that. But I don't know. Thankfully, my parents weren't like that either, but I played with people who were, and I seen them. Like, my teammates were like, man, I don't want my parents to even come watch me play, right? And I just feel really bad for Mitch Marner because I feel like he's someone who's so, timid and quiet. And I don't know, obviously I don't know the guy, but I just feel like he just wouldn't be able to handle it the same way that.
No, he can't. He can't. It
takes a special kind of person to let that roll off your back, right?
Yeah. He wants to win that bad. I think he'll end up destroying himself.
I want to look up John Tavares' contracts that he had signed. Like, what did he get? So, like, the dude he was already had, like, his big contract in New York. He was getting paid $6 million a year. Like, I mean, you came home and you were all proud to come home. Like, why did you sign such a big contract?
He still signed less than he was offered from San Jose. San Jose offered $13 million.
I mean,
and that goes to Chad's point earlier. I mean, like, this is the problem. The guys, we got players who are too good. Like, what are you going to do? Not sign John Tavares?
No,
that would also get you fired as a GM. Right?
I mean, I don't feel like John was chasing the money, though. I feel like John wanted to come home. So, like,
I feel
like
he had to make it work.
Yeah, I just feel like he would have came for. I bet you Dubas went in there and was just like, man, here, write the check yourself. Like,
no, I don't. He's got pressures from his union. Like, if he goes in and signs a very low contract, which we would all love for him to do, no one has ever done it. Like, when was the last time? Like, I know Crosby signed a discount.
It's just
no, he didn't. But at the time he signed it, that was still a lot of money.
It's market value. Yeah.
No one's.
But here's the other thing.
The only thing I wish that hockey players would change, and it happened with Hyman this year. It's totally fine to chase the money. All of us would chase the money to go to another employer. But Hyman's first response is he wanted to go. Something along the lines is he wanted to go to a winner. Well,
so like,
just leave that out and say you chase the money, which he's not going to say. I know that, but like. Yeah. I don't know. That's what.
That's a bold.
What does this mean then?
They're employees. They don't need to say. We would love for them to take a discount, but
100%.
It's not going to happen.
In my own defense, I will say his contract was the first one out of all of them, but it set a precedent then, though, right? And that's where I really feel like it comes back to bite us in the ass because he probably would have signed for a little bit less just because it's a hometown discount. Explain the situation. Like, John, we have 3 really good kids that I'm going to have to sign. I don't think was it just not thought about? I don't know. I just feel like it was just so irresponsible. Like, it was, I think.
His situation was he still wanted the top young, at the time when they signed him, he was still one of the top young centers in the world. Yeah. He got an Olympic gold medal under his belt.
7 or something, I think he was.
Yeah, he's playing at a point per game pace his entire career. He was a first overall draft pick. All these things they matter, whether people think they don't or not. He's currently still, as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs today, on a point per game pace for this season.
Okay, so it was in 2018. He's my age, so he was 28 when he signed that contract. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah.
Here's the other thing. All the UFA days that passed by and all these hopeful Toronto signings and Stamkos and Pietrangelo and Shattenkirk and everything, we're going to complain about fucking John Tavares.
Always.
Come on. Because you want Stamkos came in and it's like, oh, it's all over now.
Well, you know yourself, Chad. If any of those guys do ever come to Toronto, they're signing for min or like $1 million.
Yeah.
Why do someone who's been paid over $6 million a year for even 5 years, why do you need so much? It's just like, I don't know. It's so crazy. I know.
Asking amounts is, you're going to drive yourself nuts asking that because
I don't know. I just feel
it's all relative. I mean, it would be no difference with the money that we make. Like, why would you ask for more?
True, right? Exactly.
The other thing is too, San Jose made it public what they offered him. They're like, we're going to give this guy $13 million a year for 7 years.
I guess so.
What's he going to do? Turn around and say, no, I'm going to sign with the Leafs for 9. Like,
well, I mean, he signed for what was his anyways? 11, 12? I can't remember.
Yeah,
that would not have gone over well in the union.
No, and I understand. Like, and those agents are going to fight for as much as they can because they get a little bit of it. Yeah. So like, it is what it is. But John coming to Toronto, the endorsements alone, like the man got the John Tavares Foundation now, and the whole Lululemon thing, and that was just not Olympics. Lululemon and him actually teamed up with the John Tavares, and like they had a full line of clothes. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, God damn! If you would have literally signed for like even 10 million.
Yeah, and my last point with it is this. When they brought him in, they were like, okay, so you're the big man in New York who scores all the goals. Well, we have Austin Matthews for that. You need to change. And we want you also to potentially become a captain. So that's the difference in paying that man a lot of money. It's just not to be the New York Islander that you were. You had to be something bigger. And he was, and he is.
Now, I will say, in all the years we've had him, this year, I've seen, I don't know if it was like the documentary or what, but he seems like he is actually, I've questioned, I'm like, why did they make him captain? He seems too quiet or too,
well, he had to grow into it.
But I completely take back everything I've ever said about him in regards to his captaincy, because I do feel like he's a leader. Well, like I didn't, because I thought he just wasn't his personality wasn't perfect. But
what was the difference maker last year in the playoffs? Game 1. What was the difference maker? If we had John Tavares in that series, we'd have cakewalked to Habs. And anybody who says anything different, Habs fans alike, are full of it. If we had John Tavares in that series, we would have walked right straight through Montreal 4 games, I think.
That was traumatizing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was a big voice to take out of the room. I don't give a shit when anybody says that's their captain. You see the way the guys responded for him when it comes, I mean, John Tavares is not a pushover, I don't think, in that locker room in any way, shape, or form. He's just a different kind of leader than
he's a very serious dude.
He is.
He's super serious.
In all business.
Do you guys remember the Tampa Bay game this season? And it was like really rough, and there's a gif of it, or like a little quick video of it, I should say, of he got his helmet off. I guess there must have been a scruffle in front of net or wherever it was on the ice. His helmet is off, and like him and a couple Tampa Bay players are all there. I guess the ref had the whistle blown, and the way that he looks at all the guys. Did you see this? I'll have to find it for you if you didn't see it.
No.
It literally, it made me completely appreciate him way more than I ever did. I was like, holy shit, he can get angry, and like if looks could kill. Because I forget what happened in the game. I'll have to go back and check the highlights of it. But whatever happened, somebody went after somebody else. And then John Tavares came in like, you better not talk. I don't know, maybe it was a goalie. I don't know. But he's looking at like Corey Perry and this one and that one. And I was like, oh, who's that guy? That's not John Tavares.
Corey Perry hit that.
Yeah, no, it was really cool, and it made me just like, I don't know, respect him way more, because I was like, wow, he actually does have like a little bit of feistiness to him. Like, yes, there it is.
Yeah, no, and right to today, we've had no reason to complain about John Tavares. Like Patty said, 4 years, we have 3 left with him. Do I see a steep fall off in the next 3? Probably not. He's still on a point per game pace right now. He's like 3rd on the team in scoring.
Yep,
like 1 point. You know what I mean?
Speaking of John Tavares, he is the candidate for the last man in. So go vote. And you can vote 10 times a day.
Why not Nylander?
I don't know. It was already done, I think. Like the votes. Voting was
100% being an all-star talk.
Well, the good thing is Marner's not in it. So we got Matthews, and Matthews was voted as the captain. So
Marner shouldn't be in it.
I know. He's barely played. And Jack is also going. So his first all-star game. So that's another clap.
Cool. I do like very cool.
In the Atlantic division, you get to vote for 1 person per division, and John Tavares is our candidate. So go to the NHL website and vote for Johnny T.
Wouldn't it all be Nylander anyway? Because you had those salty Leafs fans who still hate him, who'd be like voting for the other guy.
I don't see many.
Man, that's why I want him there.
You guys
so many Leaf fans just like him, and
I don't see many anymore.
And the ones all show up around a pair of pit vipers and a mustache.
And I ask him, like, why don't you like Nylander? Oh, I just don't.
Yeah.
It's because they've had to keep up the charade for so long that like now they just have to, where they look like idiots. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Yeah.
I said it best, I think, the other day when I was talking to one of my buddies. He was like, I don't like Nylander. I was like, yeah, you probably don't like Fords either. You know, or Shivs, or one of those. It's just one of those things you don't like it for that long that you just, no matter what they put out, you just can't like it.
Because I don't.
Because I don't. I've never liked Fords, and I'm not going to like Fords.
I heard something bad about him.
they're probably someone who's so vocal about it too, and they know that they hate it Nylander. So now all of a sudden, if they're Nylander fans, they're gonna look really stupid because
trade that for a defenseman. Trade that for a defenseman.
Yeah. Okay. Trade Marner too. Like, boys, you don't understand.
Yes.
Like,
so what do we got? Actually, speaking of Marner coming back.
Yes, apparently he's supposed to join. Actually, let me double check because I haven't looked on Twitter today, but apparently him and Engvall was supposed to meet up with the team in Arizona today. So I'm guessing because they're not playing until Saturday, so I guess they're probably staying in Arizona for a few days and flying.
Extended stay for Matthews. Yeah.
Which I would imagine probably going to his house because he has a home down in Arizona.
Yeah. I can imagine Arizona in January, probably not shitty, and get a few rounds in.
Yeah, like I mean, it's better than being in Toronto, and I don't know how cold St. Louis, Missouri is right now.
Well, it's a lot better than here. I'm looking at my swimming pool rink out there that never did freeze.
Oh, that's too sad.
Because the numbers here are useless.
No updates that I see.
I got another topic we got to hit. Another one we got to hit. Edmonton Oilers, Evander Kane.
Yeah.
No.
The Edmonton's desperate enough to do it, and Kenny Holland, I can guarantee you, is probably not sleeping, knowing he's probably going to do it or has it done already. It's just one of those things, man. There's a desperate team that need to get whatever they can get. I don't know if he deserves a chance. If he's getting proper help, it's not up to me to say, but it just feels like it's not if, it's when it goes off the rails again, and that's the shitty part about it.
Well, I don't know.
Do good things on the ice.
And
you know what? I always hold a little soft spot for him because he knocked out Matt Cook, and I watch that video. I swear at least once every week since it happened.
22 goals last year, right? Like,
man, he's a good hockey player. There's no doubt.
I'd love to see
tough as nails.
I've been pretty vocal. I'd love to see him on Leafs.
So would I. I just don't want the drama. I had enough drama. I want zero drama.
I'm to the point now, though. Like, I can see why Edmonton would bring him in. This is going to go against everybody else here.
Can he play defense?
On the podcast. Well, I'm like,
Edmonton
Leafs haven't won in so long. Like, do anything to improve your team, like at any cost. Like, I don't care anymore. But
yeah, I don't know, man. That moral standpoint, though, I can't get past that. There's domestic violence there. He might.
Well, that stuff, yes.
He did use a fake vax pass.
Yeah.
To cross a freaking country border.
While positive with COVID.
I know, right? Like, that's a bit much. And he's a fantastic hockey player, and I do love him as a hockey player. I always have, but man, the circus.
The issue with that is, though, like the issue with that is you can't do shit like that and then get to be someone who's paid $1 million a year.
Yeah,
to be like
here, go play with Connor McDavid and try to win a Stanley Cup.
Like, it's just
greatest player in the world. Here you go,
like,
Evander.
for so long on our TVs now with this new Hockey Diversity Alliance, and then everything to do with I don't know, just everything, female hockey,
just fair play.
Fair play. The whole hockey culture is messed up, and this proves it. And it's just, I don't know if you guys caught his interview with talking about Kane, Connor's interview. It's really disappointing. Very disappointing.
The COVID thing is really the only thing that stands out to me as something that really actually bothers me, because again, the domestic abuse or rape or whatever the hell it was that he was tangled up with, that was all disproven. Or at least he was never charged with it. So
yes,
yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, because
I said the same thing.
If he had a rap sheet for it, I'd say, oh yeah, no problem. I'm done with this guy. Like Slava Voinov, done with that guy, right?
Yes.
So I'm letting that go because we don't know if it was true or not, and so there's no point in talking about it. The gambling and the going bankrupt bit, that's a personal issue, and there's lots of people around with personal issues. I got no issue with that. That's something, Robin Leonard will talk to you day in, day out about personal issues that he's had to deal with. Not,
but hold on,
addiction.
mental, I wouldn't concern, but that's mental health issues. It's different than behavioral.
Listen, gambling is classified as an addiction in a sense too. So it could
and also,
very well be.
All these things,
the money that he got.
All these things you just listed, I just hear distraction.
Exactly.
Not
on my team. I don't think the man deserves to play in the NHL ever again.
And everyone's got to smell it. So.
No, but my biggest thing, I do have quotes here from McDavid, but the biggest thing that's upset people about his presser was that he essentially said, hold on, bear with me. When asked about the optics of bringing Kane in, McDavid said, "I'm not really here to discuss optics issues. If fans don't like it and media doesn't like it, I think it is what it is. I think there are a lot of things that go on the ice and whatnot that fans don't like, and we don't necessarily have to discuss that up here with you guys. Public opinion is obviously something that matters a lot, but we're here to try and win games and try to put together a good team on the ice. If Kenny thinks that's what he can do, then that's what he can do. Kenny's got our full support in what he does." So Connor McDavid doesn't care what his
generic
fans
is
think.
generic to me, like that cliche interview.
So
as
what
a man
he's
that's desperate
saying,
right now.
Yeah, very
Well, I mean, the
desperate.
team is desperate. He needs help.
Yeah. But I think, is that his way of like crying out for help?
No, I
Sticking
think
dick out there for him?
Because
Because
I just think it's cliche interview talk. That's it.
I mean,
I don't really want to talk about it, so I'll give you some jargon.
100%. It is very, very basic. I just don't think you got to, and me reading it out is kind of not, you know what I mean? Like, go watch it. But people are really upset because he pretty much said he doesn't care what the fans think.
See, I don't look at it as cliche talk. When I heard the same thing, I was thinking to myself, much the same, but he basically said exactly what Patty said come off with. He sounded desperate in the sense that the things that should maybe matter, don't really matter. And what upset the fans was that he basically said the issues that happen on and off the ice that you guys want to talk about, we don't have to talk about. And I disagree. Things that happen on the ice are what we should talk about. Things that happen away from the ice are maybe things we shouldn't talk about.
Exactly. That's true.
Right? Some of it.
What I hear is, you know what, the GM's going to do what they're going to do. I just want to win hockey games. That's all I hear. Pass it off next.
Yeah. 100%. And I understand his side of it. Like he's saying, if I can't, it's not up to me who gets brought in here. If he thinks that he's a good fit for our team, sure. But I don't think, like, I don't know. It's just like that man don't deserve. And like Kenny Holland on his presser the other day, like, I believe in second chances. This man, like Evander Kane has had 6 chances. Like this poor kid that Montreal had drafted. His life is ruined, essentially. Like, yeah, he'll get to play again, but his reputation is bad. So is Evander's. But this kid, like, he'd done something when he was like 18, and apparently, for those who don't know, he had apparently taken a picture of a girl while she
shared it.
Yeah, while they were doing something, and he had shared it with his teammates. However,
potentially ruined some girl's life.
The picture, though, was just of her shoulder and her hair. You couldn't see her face. But the teammates knew who it was because he told them who it was. So that was where I think he actually had gotten in trouble, is because he identified who it was, even though you couldn't identify him. You know what I mean? So that's how he actually got in trouble for it. But he was a kid, and like,
but there's no accountability. It was passed off.
Yeah, and like
I'm going to take myself out of the draft, and all of a sudden he's back in,
and then they draft him anyway.
So it's bullshit.
I think that it's just like, okay, that kid, he might deserve a second chance. But Evander, why does he get to have 6, 7, 8 chances? Because he's a proven hockey player? No, he's not. I mean, not that he's not, but I mean, he doesn't get. I don't think he deserves some, and that's just my.
He always has there's a lot of fringe reasons to be kicked off a team.
Yeah, like it's just constant something after another, like
distractions. And that's what I look at. I'm not saying like everything he does, like what that Logan kid did. He did something very damaging to someone else.
Someone else,
yeah. Right?
Yeah, I don't like what that kid did. That's
whereas Evander Kane has hijinks.
You're a girl dad.
Distractions.
Put yourself, you know.
He knows what he did.
You are too.
That kid knew what he was 18. He's old. I knew what I was doing at 18. But back to Kane.
Especially there's enough knowledge about with sharing. And exploitation is a big thing, and it has been a couple of years ago. So I mean, he knew what he was doing. He's trying to be cool from his.
Now he did say that he was like the younger kid just coming into a new team, and he was trying to like get the approval of his teammates. Right. And like, I mean, I'm not a boy. I don't know what it's like to be a teenage boy, but I can understand that to a sense too, when you kind of feel like you don't belong and you're just trying to, maybe that's what those boys did. They was just bragging rights or something. But I do not agree that, I don't think that, I just believe that he deserves more of a chance for being young and whatever than what Kane does. And after
I can't say,
as a grown ass man.
After that whole hoopla with that drafting and everything, I'm quite all right with him not playing right now. Just
not yet.
Some time. Give it the proper time. You should have. He never should have been drafted. You know what? Wait till next year. Let it all settle down. But
that's the problem. that's the problem with sports and winning. And you can compare both examples because I'm sure going through Bergevin's mind when he drafted that kid and ignored the kid saying, no, I don't want to be drafted. Mm-hmm. Bergevin is saying, I think he probably came out in the media and said it. If I don't draft him, I know one of my colleague or one of my competitors there.
All right.
Same thing with Edmonton. If Colin, I know you made Javier made the comment that Dubas potentially went into the dressing room, Leafs dressing room, asked the Leafs players, do they want Kane? And they said no. I think the big difference in that situation in Toronto versus Edmonton, Toronto really don't need Kane. Like they're a top 3 team in the league. But that conversation of Holland, because Holland may have done the same thing.
Yeah.
He probably did. Did he go into the dressing room, have that same conversation and ask the players, do you want Kane? They really don't have a lot of swagger right now to say whether players should be coming on this team or not.
True that.
No, we're good, man.
Yeah, right? That's very true, Patty. That's true. When you look at it, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the NHL should step in at this point and say, no, this man, the NHL should step in and just say, no, this man is not to be employed by us anymore. And the NHLPA don't want nothing to do with it. And that way,
how much do you pay him?
Right, he can go play then with the KHL somewhere if he wants to play hockey.
But
you know he's bad news when a team has got him signed. He scored 20 goals last year. A team has him under contract at a reasonable hit, $5 million plus for the next couple of years, and they decide to terminate his contract. He's bad news. There's no dispute.
The distractions. It's bad distractions.
That's where the NHL should come into play. Like this Mayu guy or the guy that Montreal drafted. Montreal should not have had the opportunity or have had to make that decision in order to draft that kid. The NHL should have stepped in and said,
and honored that kid's wishes.
This player is ineligible to be drafted.
Yep.
No difference with Kane. This player is ineligible to play in the NHL.
Yep.
And that's why I think it was bullshit on the GM side and on the kid's side. When he came out and said he didn't want to be drafted this year, you should have withdrew. You just like, I don't want to get drafted.
Oh, so he can.
Nobody drafts me though. I mean, that's not.
But I don't know if he can withdraw.
Yeah, that's not. Can he withdraw? Like. No, I just think if you're at the age and you're eligible and you played for like that certain junior team or whatever, to like, I don't.
It's a choice. You don't just have an automatic choice to try to get into the NHL. That's a choice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think 100%. I don't know. Because
I mean, there's been many situations where players that were like, if like say first overall picks, like please, Adam Fox did it. He was very young.
With Quebec.
Yeah, like I do not want to be drafted by that team. Do not draft me, and then they do it anyway.
Yeah, but by that team, I'm talking about the entire draft.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works.
I want to take myself out of eligibility. To think that somebody can't remove themselves out of eligibility for everything, I don't know. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked.
Make it worse, then Montreal goes and drafts them in the first round.
Yeah, they hop high.
Well, I've never been drafted, but I've never entered a draft either. So maybe that's my problem. Yeah, I don't know. Right? But we all know it's a broken league. This is not new news. I mean, the Kyle Beach thing, we're just fresh off of that. I mean,
and then just last week, there's a thing about the off-ice officials. Did you see that? There was a bunch of off-ice officials who got fired, like last year or something recently, because they had filed. There was complaints made about sexual assault or sexual harassment. I forget. Don't quote me because I just quickly read it and I can't remember exactly. But anyway, there's another huge lawsuit going out now with officials that had gotten.
The league is broken, and it needs someone to look into it who's not currently looking into it.
Gary Bettman.
It's all under Bettman's watch for a very long time.
Yep. And that in itself,
I won't even bring up the Kodak Black situation because that right there was just like
that was awesome.
Anyway,
that was, and it's all over TikTok. Like we had Ben come over yesterday after his online learning, and me and Adam were talking about it, and he overheard us, and he was like, because Adam said he shouldn't be allowed in an NHL game ever again. So then he's like, who shouldn't be allowed in? Who, right? And we were like, nobody. He's like, no, who? So I'm like, Kodak Black. So us assuming he had no idea what we were talking about. He was like, why? What did he do? And we were like, oh, he was just dancing inappropriately with a woman. And he's like, I seen it. I'm like, you're 11. How did you? Yeah, TikTok. Like.
Really?
Yeah, it was all over TikTok. So, I mean, that is such a bad look. Like, for the NHL. Like, how do you let this shit happen?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. and people are turning a blind eye to it who shouldn't, and that's the unfortunate side of things. Will it change?
Yeah.
Probably not anytime soon. That kind of change takes time.
I don't want to be
either swift and immediate action, or it takes a very long time.
I don't want to be a feminist and say this, but a fucking woman needs to come in and fix it.
Kylie, you'll never understand the struggles of a middle-aged white male, all right?
There's so many.
So many struggles.
So many.
I mean,
no, but in all honesty, like, I really do think that may make a difference. I don't mean actually like a woman, but just anybody that's not Batman or his little side dude. I forget the other guy's name.
So you think the toxic masculinity could be the problem there?
And the old
school thinking. Yep.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, I wouldn't.
How much shit happens that is swept under the rug? I mean, Kyle Beach. That was what, 2010? And only he came out and like finally got someone to listen to him. TSN guy. We still wouldn't even know.
Imagine Jonathan Taves, who is one of my favorite players in the world of all time, said in his press conference that he said he didn't know what happened at the time, but had heard sketches of it the following season. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, that's still okay to talk about it then. You know what I mean?
Why is it still 10 years later or 11 years later and we're only finding out about it? Because it's scary when you think about it.
It's scary.
Tip of the iceberg. Yeah. It really is. And finally, with Kyle Beach, and I'm telling you, after this, go Google the off-ice officials, because I can't remember the story and I don't want to, to tell the wrong story. But finally that now Kyle Beach has come out and he's been successful in his lawsuit. More and more are, and I can't wait. Well, it started with Akeem Aliu, but it's just, Boz, it's a
NHL, clean up your shit.
As much as I love this league and I love it, and it's to the point now, and going back to the penalties thing, where it really makes me wonder, and I'm like, I don't know if this shit is actually fair. I question it.
The headline reads, 2 former off-ice NHL officials sue the league after being fired for reporting supervisors' racism.
Oh, it was racism. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I knew it was something they reported it.
Yeah, they got fired for doing the right thing.
Yeah, they did. And
I did hear about that, Kylie. I had forgotten about it.
But I feel like there was something else about harassment or assault as well. Maybe there was another, in that same article, I think it was talking about another person who had also gotten fired for reporting something else. And I think that was a sexual thing. I could be completely wrong, but I do remember reading something about it. But I was just like, boss, this is like a can of worms. Like, we're just starting to. And all I'm afraid of is that it's going to I don't know, just what's the word? But not exist anymore. Because
the dominoes are going to fall and this will collapse.
Yeah. It's going to dissolute.
We're not going to let these topics go away either. We've got a great guest coming up. We won't tell you who, because it's in the works, but we're going to be recording it real soon.
Yes.
We've got a great guest coming up who we're gonna talk about some of this stuff with, and you guys won't be disappointed, I promise. But on that note, I think, guys, we should knock it on the head because we're dragging it on. Yeah. You guys cool?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So if you've enjoyed the episode, this was a great episode because we've disagreed a lot, which is what I love. I love when especially when we disagree in twos.
Because we've been kind of on teams here tonight.
We picked teams tonight and went at it. So I really liked it. Awesome conversation because you guys changed my opinion on a couple of things and I furthered my own opinion on a few more. So awesome episode. Really enjoyed it. But if you've liked our content, guys, you can always get all of our content at www.facebook.com/DeekSnipeSelly. You can also get us at www.deeksnipeselly.ca. That's fully up to date right now. Of course, all of our video content is available on YouTube. Just search Deke Snipe Silly on YouTube. You'll get us there. And all of our audio content, which is where we're getting most of our listeners, is all across pretty much anywhere you subscribe. Make sure you do subscribe as well. Great to see people get notifications on our episodes. That actually makes me really happy that you liked it enough to say,
let us know what you think about our new album, like our cover art too.
Yeah.
New cover art. Shout out.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Paul Loader, of course. He's our new graphics. We call him our graphics coordinator at Deep Snipe Silly. And a big shout out, of course, to Tim Hayward, whose second article is on the editor's table as we speak. So that's coming out now very shortly too. But further to that, like I said, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify. The list is
anywhere you find your favorite podcast.
Anywhere you can find your favorite podcast. But the biggest shout out of the day goes to our sponsor. Our sponsor is PHG Sports out of Whitby, Ontario, but you'll know them best from their Costco Roadshow. They've been selling hand-signed memorabilia for Costco Canada for 10 plus years now and still going strong. So you can get those guys at www.phgsports.com, or you can find them at your local Costco. And Chad, where are they today?
PHG will be set up at Northwest Costco, Downsview, Yorkdale, Ontario, from January 4th to January 16th.
Attaboy.
That's Sunday, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yorkdale.
Yep. So PHG Sports, guys, that's where the pros sign. And make sure to swing by the booth, even if you're not looking for something in particular. Have a chat with the guys. They're super knowledgeable in
Tell them we say.
Yeah. And, mention DSC. Maybe you'll get a little surprise.
There you go.
Oh, she winking, boss.
Did you see that wink? That was a good wink.
For the audio guys, she winked hard. Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with a closing thought, Jerry Springer style. Brad Marchand came out and said as a child he grew up rooting for the Leafs, which is hard for him to say right now at this point in his life. And I say to that, that's just more proof that we have the worst fans in NHL. So that's my closing thought, folks.
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that. So, like I said, that subscribe button should be up there now between me and Kylie, right there. Give that one a smash. And again, don't forget to reach out and visit PHG Sports. Been a great episode, guys. So if you're good, I'm good. We'll knock it on the head.
Good to be back.
It's great to be back.
It's been good to see you guys. Missed you guys. Yeah, we're good. All right, good night, guys. I'm going to eat my rotisserie chicken.
Cheers.
Finally.